YouTube, what's good? Senju, back at it again with another video. So today, we got a little bit of a different video for you. This gameplay for today was extremely good in showing how great team play is and how coordinated you need to be when running in quads, and pretty much the magic that can happen when you think the game is over and the game just isn't over. So, for today's loadout, we're actually testing out the PPSH as a secondary in this video while I'm commentating over the video, giving you guys an insight into what goes through my head and how it is to kind of be like a floor general for the team when you need to be. So, as always, we're bouncing back between the AMAX, the Growl, the Krieg, and other weapons, trying to find out what really is the best primary, but the meta is wide open, as it is for secondary, so time will tell when we finally land on that be-all end-all weapon that really just kind of drives the meta in terms of power gap. But for right now, this is what we're pretty much landing on. We're just kind of getting comfortable with the meta, and when you're doing that, there's nothing like Old Faithful, good old CR56 AMAX. Now, I recommend not using the one with tracers because I feel like the muzzle flash does get in the way. However, you can definitely use it if you feel like it. But on my build, I'm running the mono suppressor with the Zodiac barrel, Commando foregrip, the 45 round mags, and the Apex Hollow. For those of you who have been following me since the gun came out, you know that this is what I've been running from day one on this weapon. Now, for the PPSH, we're going to build this right in front of you. We're going to get rid of all the attachments that allow piping. Here's what we're going to run. We're going to run the GRU suppressor for the extra bullet velocity and the 10% additional range. However, we are not running a barrel because this range at base is already at, I believe, 17 meters, and with the suppressor it goes out to 21 meters. So there is no need to run a barrel on this weapon and just hurt your accuracy and your stability for no reason. Now, in addition to that, we are running with the Spetsnaz grip. You can test the speed grip, however, I feel the most comfortable with the Spetsnaz grip. Now, you have an option of doing the 55 round drum mag or the 70 round drum mag. I happen to like the 71 round specifically because the more ammo the better, and I don't really notice a huge penalty for running the 71 drum round mag. There may be something going on in the mobility that I'm not noticing, but honestly I'm not noticing anything different. Now, we are running Serpent Wrap. You could easily run the GRU elastic or the speed tape, however I feel like this gives you the biggest bonus to the ADS speed without all of the negatives to everything else, and I'm looking for a nice balanced experience on this weapon, so I decided to go with the Serpent Wrap. Now, for the stock, obviously Raider stock 100%. I'm not using this as some hipfire MP5 cheese build. This is an ADS in your face, get in get out kind of build, and this is basically what my PPSH is running with right now, and it's absolutely slapping. In terms of TTK, for those of you who are curious, it is identical to the AK-74U at a 0.6. Now, the headshots absolutely shredding at a 0.4, I believe it is on this one. We know from yesterday that the AK-74U is pretty much the best SMG in the game, especially if you have all of your attachments. So if this thing can compete on the same level as the AK-74U on charts, then I'm expecting it to perform well in game, especially since the open bolt delay is gone and this thing is basically instant. Now, for perks, we are rocking double time, overkill, and amped, a throwing knife for the lethal, and a heartbeat sensor for the tactical. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get to talking about how it is to really be a coordinated team in Warzone. Alright, so when we're talking about where you need to land at, there are three things that you need to pay attention to. How many people are going to that area? Is it high density? And where is the buy station? Those are basically the three things you need to pay attention to. When you do this, there's a couple of locations that I like to land at: airport, the train station, and superstore. The main reason for this is because in quads, obviously it's a lot of kills, but because of that, you're able to load up on money extremely fast, which nets you a loadout pretty early into the game. And the whole point is, if you're able to get a loadout faster than every other team on the map, then that allows you to push them fully loaded and ready to go, whereas they're not going to be prepared for that kind of gunfight, which pretty much results in a guaranteed dub. Now, when you happen to be in the gulag, this is a perfect example. You do exactly what I did. If you spawn on my side, hop on the truck, because they're most likely going to come running around looking for you in the street. If you spawn on his side, you can hop on the wall. I do it a lot, but it's better to hop onto the car on that side because you'll be able to peek over to the wall and see if they're behind the wall, if they're chilling in spawn, if they're going up on the houses, or if they're coming up from behind the boxes of the tank. And you're gonna have a line of sight for every single one of those gunfights. Now, for this kind of gunfight, it's pretty simple. I like to just call this open air dogfighting. You're gonna see this a couple of times in this gameplay. You basically want to net yourself cover. Like you can see here, we're doing some dogfighting here, but we're also adding in the tactic of suppression. K9 is basically shooting over top of me, allowing me to push up on the guy on the loadout box. And because I have Deddy, I'm able to push up on this guy and completely get him waxed. Now, I don't care if the guy is alone. I don't care if he's a straggler out in the gas. Kill him. Not only is it free stat padding, but it frees up the possibility that this man goes and grabs a most wanted and sits up in the rooftop somewhere, and then that same team comes back to end up killing you because they didn't have a loadout and they were camping in the final circle. Now here, yet again, we got some open air dogfighting. As you can see, I just boxed that man's up, just drove up. Like, the key here is that you want to end the gunfights quick. A lot of teams are aggressive, but they don't know how to be quick. And when you have people like Shiny, K9, me, and Bill on the team, where you can really just get in and get out, that's where it really benefits all of our playstyles. They're popping fireworks around here, and it sounds like bombs. But anyway, as you can see, we got another straggler. But like I was saying, you want to end the gunfights fast. You know, you want to be able to sit there, get the gunfights over with. The faster you're able to get the gunfights done with, the faster you can heal up, plate up, grab the money, grab the UAVs, grab all the plates and satchels and stuff, and get into the next gunfight fully ready, rather than getting third party, because it can happen in an instant. Now, this is very important. I want you to pay attention to what happened here. I pulled up, we realized that there was a team hiding up on the hotel. Now, we basically did this Rainbow Six style. We breach and cleared it. I got a UAV, and those two went up the building. K9 and Shiny went up in the building, and I gave them some recon intel. I told them, hey, there's a guy hiding up on top of the hotel right on top of K's location. So right then, I popped the airstrike, and what happened was the two people that ended up hiding up there ended up running into the building to get away from the airstrike, and the other half of the team split up and went right where Shiny was, and Bill was able to give Shiny the information to basically wax those guys. Because when Shiny came up, Shiny knew, hey, this guy's sitting over here because Bill told me. And when K9 went up, I had already told him that I'm going to airstrike right on him, and that the guys may come right into him, and sure enough they did, and he just boxed him up, resulting in an immediate team wipe. Even though we only sent 2 people up, they were so focused on us down here and trying to get away from the airstrike at the exact same time that they didn't know what to do. They were probably all hollering into the mic, airstrikes coming, blah, 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 blah. This. Meanwhile, we were just a well-oiled machine rolling in and boxing people up and just getting up out of there. Now, yet again, we got another example of open air dogfighting. This is fairly simple. You want to be the person with the most cover, but you also want to be the person being the aggressor. As long as you're the person not taking cover, you're the one winning the gunfights. Because I can guarantee you, if they're taking cover, they're most likely trying not to die. So if they're taking cover, that gives you a chance to have a teammate push up. That gives you a chance to have a teammate go on ahead and get that finish. Now, this is important. This is probably the most important part of this ring. Well, the second most important part of this match. Sometimes, even as a good player, you need to camp. And this is why. We got rats everywhere. As you can see here, Bill came back in from the gulag and a rat was camping in the corner. Because he was able to let me know, I went on ahead and boxed him up. Gone ahead and slapped him up with that throwing knife, and yet again you can see an example of what I meant when I said you need to end the gunfights quickly. He got down and immediately did a U-turn to try and ping me, and I throwing knifed him before he got a chance to do that. Now, this gunfight right here is tricky. There's 2 ways you can play this. You can go up the hill as a team, or you can wait for them to come down. Now, me being kind of the floor general for this specific match, what I told them to do was push up, but keep in mind that there was a guy up there on the roof, because I did see him on the ping. Now, what we did not know going into it is that there was an entirely second ghosted team hiding up in the hills in the second building behind the guy that we actually saw on the radar. Because of that, they got the Shiny. However, Shiny made it out of the gulag, and shoot, he came right back in. What a soldier. But I decided to retreat down the hill because the gas was pushing anyway, and I knew K could handle himself, and as you can see, Bill kept him distracted from the bottom. I was able to basically keep eyes on the other end to see if there was anybody trying to leak out in the corners, and K was able to collapse and completely get the finish. Now, here is how you close out a match. This is extremely important because I know a lot of you have a tough time closing out matches. You get that clammy hand anxiety when you get into the final phases of the final rounds of the match, and you end up losing because your hands were sweaty, you know, palms were sweaty, knees was weak, and you was dropping your mom's spaghetti all over the place. But it's real simple. All you need to do is take a look at the upper right hand corner of your screen and see how many people were left. When you do that, then you basically tell your team, hey, X amount of people are left, and then you do a sweep and clear. You sweep the edges of the ring and you clear anybody out there. Now, when we pushed up to this ring, I noticed that a cargo truck was randomly sitting up there. Now, you and I both know that cargo trucks don't spawn way out here in the random woods and sticks. So I knew that a team traveled up here, which means that we needed to sweep and clear. Now, since we weren't getting shot at and we weren't making any noise going up the hill, I already knew that no one knew we were coming from that angle. So instead of us getting up there, taking the truck and driving across, I decided, hey, we're gonna go up here, we're gonna go past the truck and sweep the entire upper end of this ring and see where these guys are at and clean them up. So once we did that, as you saw previously, we cleaned them up on the hill, and now we have control of the hill, which means everyone has to push into us, and we're pretty much properly suited for this. We have snipers, we have me with the AMAX holding this lane, and as you can see, when the gas pushes this guy up, he gets absolutely waxed. However, what surprised me is that there was a rose hiding down here. There was a rose hiding in the random blue down here, and this person ended up getting up the hill, but I'll show you how to take care of this. So the person that I just pinged on the heartbeat sensor was the riot shield person that just killed K. I mean, what can you do about it, man? It's a riot shield. Those are effectively two people in one. However, as you can see, turning around, there's a rose trying to sneak into the ring. Last person on that team, right? Now, I started pinging. I looked, nothing. So what I did was I played like a bot. I walked up the hill, but I did it for two specific reasons. One, it lessens the amount of noise that I make, and two, I don't get caught in tactical sprint like he did. Now, the funny thing is, he knew to do an immediate 360 and look in my direction. So he must have heard a bush or a footstep or a twig that I broke. But because I wasn't tac sprinting, the second I saw him, I was able to just laser him, as you saw there. Easy headshots with the PPSH, put him straight to sleep. Now, as you can see here, Shiny has basically got eyes on the corner where K9 died at. The main reason why he's doing that is because he knew I could handle the guy behind us. That's not an issue. I'll take care of that guy. But the riot shield is the person that we need to worry about, because one stun and we're both going to sleep. Night, we're headed to the gulag. So what we were gonna do was basically lane this guy as he came up. However, something happened. He started shooting, and Shiny, props to him, he noticed it before me. He noticed that he was stuck. So what I did was, instead of just letting him die to the gas, I went down there and got the cheeky little stat pad and cleaned up the riot shoulder, who was obviously trying to sit over there and make his way up the hill still. Avenging our boy K, finishing out the match pretty swiftly. No overly hyped anxiety, none of that nonsense. Nobody was spilling the mom's spaghetti, and the palms wasn't sweaty. So that's basically what's going through my mind the entire time that we're playing. It's mostly just positioning, making sure that the team knows what the game plan is going into a fight, and the whole pace is just bounty, get into a fight, get out. Bounty, get into a fight, get out. That's what you try to do. In some games you can't find any bounties, but hey, those result in games like this. Now, we ended up dropping, I believe, 40 as a total, which, I mean, hey, what can I say? We love to see it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary. Let me know if you want me to do more stuff like this in the future. I'll definitely look into it. Make sure you guys leave a like. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're not part of the community already. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.
Just 嫌いかした罪は祝え